Florida State, the home team for this game, as the Atlantic Coast Conference representative, comes in with a record of 13 wins and 0 losses. Champions of the ACC, this is Florida State's 11th appearance in the Capital One Orange Bowl, 3rd most all-time. Georgia, the visiting team in this game, representing the Southeastern Conference, comes in with a record of 12 wins and 1 defeat, finishing 1st in the SEC East. The Bulldogs are making their 5th appearance here in the Capital One Orange Bowl and 2nd in the last 3 years. We will first welcome Florida State head coach Mike Norvell to say a few opening remarks, and then we'll hear from Coach Kirby Smart. Coach Norvell.
Well, first off, just want to say thank you to the Orange Bowl and the Orange Bowl committee. The hospitality this week has been incredible. It's been a great bowl experience for our players. An opportunity to come to work, to enjoy the time together, and it's really been a special week, and just so grateful for everybody associated with the bowl and just the way they've treated our student athletes, our family, our friends. It's been a wonderful week. This has been a special season. It's been one that I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the way that they have worked throughout the course of the year. The adversity that we faced, the way they've responded to it. Everything building up to finish, as an undefeated conference champion was something that was truly special for us. Coming into this bowl game, have a tremendous opportunity. Some guys that will be getting more work than what they've had throughout the course of the season, but they get their opportunity, they get their shot, and to be able to do it against a wonderful team in Georgia that's so very well coached. They've got great players, very talented, and it's going to be a great challenge for our team. But I can tell you, we're excited about the opportunity, and our guys have worked really hard. They've invested a lot, and it has been a special season for us on and off the field, and just so proud of our players and the way that they've represented Florida State University, and all of our players, past and present, by the way that they've played and continue to respond to all situations. So we're looking forward to tomorrow and the game that's ahead. But definitely proud of our guys for the work that they've invested.
Thank you very much, Coach Norvell. Now, Coach Smart.
Yeah, I would reiterate what Mike said. Every time I've ever come to the Orange Bowl, I've been here multiple times. The Orange Bowl committee, the staff members, the people that host the hospitality room, the guys involved with the players, Eric Palms, the CEO, they do a tremendous job of making sure it's first class. Everybody likes coming down here because of the weather, the beaches, and all the beautiful things you get. So I know the energy for our players has been very enthusiastic. They love the work, they love being down here. About 20 or 30% of our team was in the same location 2 years ago. So when we got the practice facility, it was very comfortable. We knew where we were, we knew what we needed to do, and we got to work on that. I have a lot of respect for Mike and his staff. We've recruited more and more against them recently as they returned to prominence, and having grown up where I grew up, 30 minutes from Tallahassee, I grew up watching Florida State play, went to a lot of their games. So I have a lot of respect. I think it's great for college football when Florida State is always in the conversation. So his staff's done a tremendous job. They're recruiting our state, we're recruiting their state. Have a lot of respect for them, and looking forward to an outstanding game, an exciting game to go play in Hard Rock.
Thank you very much, Coach Smart. And now we'll open it up for questions now for both coaches. So we ask that again you please raise your hand, be acknowledged. A microphone will be brought to you by our staff. Please state your name, affiliation, which coach you would like to answer your question, and we'll begin our questions right now. We have a question already.
Tom D'Angelo, Palm Beach Post. For both coaches, what is the solution to what's happening in college football, especially in the month of December? The way the schedule is, you guys have so many things on your plate to all different directions with transfer portal, with recruiting high school, with bowl game preparations. Can each one of you just, what do you think the solution is to all of this?
I'll just jump off. I think it is a challenging time, in the month of December, and I think the NCAA has taken some positive strides in a sense of creating the dead week there after the final regular season game, but it's it's great for the teams that are not playing in a championship game, but when you do play in a championship game, it just kind of it pours gasoline onto all the issues of what you have to do, and you know, the experiences for one, the student athlete, but also the coaching staff. You know, for us, I'm sure it's very similar for Coach Smart and their staff. You know, we went into Sunday after the championship game, and you know, still seeing where you're going to play, what that's going to look like. You know, you have to have a short meeting with the players, and then we were on the road recruiting, and you know that night, you know, being in multiple home visits, it really, you know, you didn't get a chance to sit down and really spend, you know, that much time with our players once that was done, because you're into the next part of what the calendar offers. You get into bowl season, transfer portal, all those things. You know, it's hard for the players, it's challenging for the coaches. You know, I think when you look at the time of the signing date, you know, it really, you know, it forces a lot of decisions, you know, at a rapid pace. But you know, I think as we continue to evaluate and look at it, you know, we got to be careful on all changes. We're quick to make changes, and sometimes not always, you know, even though the coaches a lot of the time will talk about the ripple effect of what will happen. You know, I think we really got to continue to evaluate that, and before we make these, you know, grand changes, that, you know, you're aware of the ripple effects of the calendar and really how it affects the student athlete, as well as, you know, just you know, the benefit of programs and coaches, and you know, efficiently and effectively being able to do the job to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a perfect solution. I don't think anybody does. But there's issues and problems, and I think the fallout of this is going to be a 5-10 year study. Look back, and you know, kids are going to be graduating at less than a rate. Maybe that's not important. We got to decide if they're student athletes or not, because what we're seeing is decisions are being made less on student athletes and on where they need to go, and financial reasons with NIL and the portal mixed together. So there's a lot less decisions being made based on where school starts, and you can push all this movement till January, but everybody's school starts at a different time. Does it matter? Did their school starts at a different time? I don't think any of the kids make their decision based on that. So when school starts in January, guys got to decide where they're going. Signing the high school kids earlier and then going into the portal after signing high school kids would certainly create a little less confusion instead of both going on simultaneously. You don't know what you have going in or out, and it's all happening at once. So it's not only anybody has a perfect solution, but certainly we're headed towards some tough times if it continues at this rate.
Okay, to our right.
Kirby Smart, Channel 2 in Atlanta. Two-part question. Do you have a game status update for Brock? And then way down the road, your grandkids ask you, what was it like, if this is his last game, what was it like coaching his legacy at the University of Georgia?
Yeah, his legacy is he's a tremendous athlete, great toughness. Never seen a kid come back from a significant injury like that fast. Pretty remarkable, the numbers he hit and what he was able to do as he came back. And he kind of changed the culture of the work ethic around, especially on our offense. To see him go out there and compete and work like he did for the 3 years he has been pretty remarkable. I mean, he is a machine when it comes to practice. Doesn't get tired, works his tail off, and he's set a standard that will be there for a long time. I mean, he's affected Oscar Dell, he affected Darnell, he's affected the young tight ends, he's affected everybody on the offense in terms of how he practices.
That's for his stats.
We'll see.
To the left.
Irish Showfellow, WarChamp.com. Kirby, it's been a few years, but can you reflect on your time at Florida State, what you learned from Coach Andrews and Coach Bowden, and maybe how that helped you in your career?
Yeah, I was a defense coordinator at Iowa State, and decided to go be a graduate assistant, which people would say was a step down, but to be in a room with Mickey Andrews, Odell Higgins, Joe Cowens, Jody Allen, Kevin Steele, a lot of really good minds in college football. It helped shape me. Been sitting in the staff room with Coach Bowden for 2 years, getting to see how he ran the team and how he commanded the respect of the team. Was really instrumental in my upbringing as a coach. 2 of the best years I had. I got a graduate degree from FSU and was able to be, 45 minutes from my hometown, and just a tremendous experience for me.
Question in the rear on the right. Or in the middle, on the right. In the front, on the right.
Jordan L. Dogs 24/7. Kirby, just how is Stacy doing, and who's sort of stepped up while he's been absent?
Yeah, Stacy was a little sick before the Christmas break, and we thought the break, I think we had 4 days, 3 or 4 days off, and we thought he would bounce back. And then when we got ready to come back to work the 25th, he was still struggling, so Ron had to check in. Feel like he's doing really well. He's moving around in the hospital now in Athens. Don't think he's going to make it down for the game. They don't want to move him right now, but he is up and moving and recovered. His wife Trish said he's ornery as hell, so she's having to deal with him. But he's got a wonderful wife and 2 daughters, and I know he'll bounce back. So in his absence, Man Ray, we put Man Ray on St. Laura on the field, and he's done a tremendous job. He's been an offensive line coach several places. He was over at Alabama for a while. He's a kid from North Gwinnett who grew up in a great football kind of system. So he's jumped right in and done a great job.
On the right.
Will McBroom, WBFS Tallahassee. Coach Norvell, obviously a lot of veteran players are not going to be playing in this game. How does that, though, translate into the younger players who are getting their first shot in some cases in major action? What has their attitude been towards having that opportunity for this game?
I mean, they're excited, and there's been a great buzz around the program because you work for opportunity, and that's what the greatest thing about football is that you never know when that moment's going to show up. You never know when your number's going to be called, but you got to be prepared for it. And so there's guys that are on this team that make major contributions in this game that have been preparing for this for their entire life, and now for the chance to go showcase who you are, to be able to do it in the Capital One Orange Bowl against Georgia, who's been really the standard of college football over the last 3 years. I mean, that's been the elite level. This is their chance, and every player always wants more. Well, you work, you build. Sometimes that might not be the instant gratification that you want, but you push yourself to put yourself in a position when that time comes that you are ready. And I really just appreciated the way that our guys have worked. I think we try to do a great job throughout the course of the season to continue to help the development of some of our younger players. Some of those guys that might not be on that front line throughout the course of the year, and to prepare you for times like this. And we face adversity throughout the season, and guys had to rise up, and guys had to be inserted throughout our journey of working to win a conference championship, and they were ready. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them play here tomorrow.
Second row on the left.
Matt Marshall, Orlando Sentinel. Mike, what have you seen out of Brock, and what are your expectations going into tomorrow, and for having him have the last couple of weeks of going to Canada?
Brock, he's a remarkable young man, and he's mature beyond his age. I mean, the way that he approaches practice, the way he approaches the meeting room, his excitement, and really just the charisma he brings, to the guys that are around him. Being his first start, being ACC conference championship, there was a lot on it, and really, this is his first week going into a game week, knowing that he was going to be the starter, because there was some uncertainty there, even in the championship week, and how practice reps kind of went. So I love his attitude, I love his approach. I think he's very talented. He's got all the characteristics you look for in what you want a quarterback to be, and he learned some lessons in that first game, and now it's an opportunity to go and improve and help those guys around him to go play it at the highest level that we possibly can. And he's got a great deal of energy and excitement for tomorrow, and like I told him, we just need to go out there and be himself, and if he does that, continue to improve, continue to get better, learn from the experiences that he's had, I've got great confidence in how he'll play.
Next to last row on the right.
David Hill with ESPN. Mike, you talk so much to your players about controlling what you can control and not letting the other stuff affect them. This past month has been a lot of things that are out of your control, starting with the committee's decision, certainly the opt-outs and portal stuff, up to the lawsuit being filed last week. Has this tested your resolve on that premise more than maybe any other time in your career?
I think so. When you sit there and you look at the challenges that present themselves, we're in a wonderful place with a wonderful position. There's nothing to sit back and hold your head, or hang your head about. This team, they went through an incredible season, and from where we were 4 years ago to where we are now, you've seen tremendous growth. tremendous belief, just a wonderful culture and team that we get to be a part of. But the challenges have presented themselves, and for us, it's we always talk about that response. We talk about the mindset of what you're going to bring to things that you can't control, and ultimately it still provides opportunity, which provides choice, and that's where the thing we continue to hit with our guys and continue to hammer through this journey is that whether you're a first year or whether you're in your last year, this could be a defining moment for you, and so go make the most of it. Given everything that you have, try to block out all the outside noise and just continue to focus on your improvement and just being better than what you've been. And there's been some tough choices for guys to have to make. I support our players in their journey, and there's been it was hard. A lot of them were hurt, in decisions of things that they couldn't control. But ultimately, I believe in where we're going to continue to build to through the experiences, right? And then obviously just grateful for all that our players have poured into our program throughout this journey.
First row on the left.
Yeah, Mike Griffith from DawgsHQ. Kirby, before this year, I don't think a #1 team had ever dropped out of the top 4 on a final weekend, and there's obviously been a trend with a lot of players opting out, skipping the bowl game, and that opportunity to play with their teammates one final time. I don't think Georgia's had any opt-outs. Can you talk about the decisions that the guys made to play with one another and what went into building that culture?
Well, I think the leaders of the team kind of spearheaded that. I stay out of it. I met with each player who's draft eligible, seniors that are have draft grades, and just spoke with them, very honest, and talked to them. And then they had to make a decision with their family members, and they want to go out on top. They don't want their last Georgia outing to be what was the SEC championship, so they put their minds to it, and it was a little bit of almost contagious. One guy did it, another guy did it, they wanted to play. So certainly very proud of that, but I do think we're going to have guys get more opportunities in this game than we would have normally had just through the injuries, because we've had significant injuries, and a lot of guys who have not been able to practice during the bowl run just because of the injuries coming out of the SEC championship. But I'm certainly proud of the guys that decided to, and they want to finish together, and I think finishing is important. I don't think enough people talk about it, and everybody says, well, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. And the kids that love football, they want to play football, and it's the Orange Bowl. I mean, you got an opportunity to go play in the Orange Bowl, and that's not given to everybody.
On the right.
Chip Towers, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Kirby, where did you guys end up practicing yesterday, and what were y'all able to get in?
Got a little bit in. I'm not going to get into the details of all that. Got a little bit of a walk done and just tried to get out in some fresh air and get out of that hotel. But it was raining, it was wet and nasty all day, and we did not want to stay cooped up in the hotel. So we had to move around a little bit and get out, and do the same thing today. Get out, it's going to be nice and cool, I think, around 65, 66. The first day it was really warm for our guys, and we tried to crank the heat up in our indoor back home, and got it up to like 75, 76, and it was warm. I guess it was on Wednesday here, and then Thursday or Tuesday here, and then we got the rain yesterday.
Gentlemen.
Ashton Cassidy from Tallahassee.com. Mike, Ja'Kai Douglas is listed as a running back on the depth chart. What does it say about his versatility, his unselfishness to be able to be willing to change positions for this game?
Yeah, Ja'Kai he's been a great player for us, and a great playmaker just throughout his years here at Florida State. He came in kind of in that dual role, being able to play running back, play you split out, play receiver. He's kind of transitioned more to receiver these last few years. You had a big game against Pitt when we really needed him, when Keon and Johnny were both out. But then, coming into this game, we've had running back positions kind of taking a little bit of a hit. Unfortunately, LT is not going to be able to play due to an injury that was happening in the championship game, and so we had to make some adjustments. And Ja'Kai he's so unselfish, and he cares so much about this team. And he does have a very versatile skill set and the things that he can do that allows him that flexibility. And so that's one of the things we try to look for in recruiting too. Guys that can do it all. If because you never know, what opportunity might present itself and how we can showcase all the skills and talents that these guys have. And I think you guys are a wonderful example of that.
Mr. Tim Reynolds.
Appreciate that. Tim Reynolds from the AP. Mike, how difficult, kind of a question in two parts. Is there still anger, or is it more of acceptance now that to follow, like everyone says, you can control about the committee's decision? And kind of to that end, how difficult is it, will it be, and has it been for you to accept that you're just never going to know what might have been if Jordan hadn't gotten hurt, or what might have been if the committee had given you a shot? Just how difficult is all that to accept?
It is. Those are all things outside of our control. But there will always be feelings about that, and I'll never say that's not real. So I'm going to always have feelings about that decision, and the things that I've had to see the effect to our players. And there's guys that are not playing in this game. That played their last game as Florida State Seminoles, and they gave everything that they had. In it, and there's. I think that some of the hurt that they experience, that we experience, just from not getting the opportunity to go and to show that what we believed we had an opportunity to achieve. But this has been a team of great resolve. This has been a team that has overcome adversity. I think when you sit there and you look, not a whole lot of people would have predicted or expected for us to go undefeated this year. You lose Jordan, and you have to play one of our biggest rivals. Go and have our backup quarterback go down and go. You have to win a conference championship. And the way that was done, it was just from the response. And I think it showed the heart, showed the character, of our team, and what we've built within this program. And we're still at the beginning of where we're going. And there are great days ahead here in front of this program. And but it still doesn't get it back for the guys that are playing that they played in their last year here at Florida State, and that's what hurts. And ultimately, we're excited for opportunity, and it does have to go back to control the things you control. There's plenty of times in life, and I've told this to our team and to each of the players. There's going to be times in life where things don't go the right way, or the way that you expected them to go, or maybe even what you've earned. You don't always receive the reward for that, but you do control the response and what you do with it, where you go, and the attitude which you bring. I mean, that's what's going to define the identity of what you have. So I know we're going to go out tomorrow. We're going to fight with everything that we have to go put our best on that field, and I'm excited we get to do it against a great opponent, a great staff that we get to compete against, and this is something that is going to continue to help push our program to ultimately where we're going to end up.
In the rear.
Questions for Coach Smart. Allison Posey, WCTV in Tallahassee. Want to go back to your time at Valdosta State. Just maybe favorite memory of being a Blazer, but also how did your time in South Georgia, growing up in Bainbridge, coaching at Valdosta State, shape you into who you are today?
My favorite memory of Valdosta State would be beating Central Art.
I knew you were going
No, just kidding. I think we had a game there that we were down a lot of points.
31-7 first half. Good halftime adjustment, sir.
You played it?
Yes.
It's crazy. 31-7, and I was like, I can't believe we came back and won this game. That was 2001 maybe, or 2000, I don't know what it was. But I had a great time at Valdosta State. It was a pleasure to work there. A lot of great staff members, great old coaches, been a lot of good coaches come out of Valdosta State. It was not fun riding the bus to Arkadelphia, 18 hours, and then driving home, and got home Sunday, and you had to go straight into work, because by the time you got home, you had to start on the next game. But I learned a lot of football, I learned a lot about coaching. I enjoyed my time there, and that impact was probably cut my teeth recruiting, because I knew the back channels and the roads down through South Georgia, and I'd grown up there, and a lot of respect for my dad as a high school coach. So I got welcomed into a lot of schools, and we signed a lot of really good players at Valdosta State from South Georgia.
On the right side.
Good morning, DJ Jones from Sports Music. This question is for both coaches. We know that this time of year is very integral as far as getting the younger players more time to practice and develop. I'd like to hear your coach's philosophy, or how you go about that.
Yeah, we try to get as many reps as we can for our young players. We've been fortunate to have, I don't know how many years are in there, 14, 15 guys that have come in, not to mention the ones who didn't play this year that were already on the team. So if we have enough people we try to get 1s, 2s, and 3s reps throughout this time. There's times we can't get all the 3s in there because we're down a little bit, our other numbers and our health. But I love watching those guys play. And we try to balance out the reps because we feel like our 1s have had a lot of reps throughout the year. So we'll do a lot more periods with more balance to get those guys almost an extra spring practice. And I think it's had a great impact on our program for the last 3 years to get these extra practices, even the extra game, after this one, the last 2 years, to kind of get those guys more prepared for next season.
We very similar. We tried to take the first 5 practices, for weekends after the championship week. During recruiting, we were practicing on those weekends and really kind of did like developmental practices. Allowed our older guys that played a lot. They got the individual work, some speed on speed. But really, the focus was on those guys that didn't get as many reps throughout the year, and to help continue to build the fundamentals, the focus. We continue to build upon the concepts of what we do, and I thought it was really beneficial. And as decisions were made throughout bowl season, I think those practices were huge for us. With some of the guys that are now that were in those developmental practices are now going to get opportunity to impact in this game, and it goes back to that statement. You never know. When your number's going to be called, you have to be ready for it. So make sure that the work through the process is preparing you for ultimately what you want to be, and being ready when your number is called.
Last row on the right.
Brandon Adams from Dog Nation. This question's for Kirby. Georgia's a program that has a lot of rivals. Florida State historically not really been one of those. The two teams just haven't played very much. But a lot of recruiting battles throughout the years. Being from Bainbridge, you kind of know the way fan base sort of intermingle down there at both sides. With the expanded playoff coming up, the chance for more meetings in the future, could you see this Georgia-Florida State rivalry perhaps grow a little bit, kind of reflecting what kind of typically goes on between the two programs, recruiting maybe more battles on the field coming up in future years?
Yeah, that's already happened. They go into South Georgia more than they probably used to, and that's an area that we take a lot of pride in. So we bump heads down there all throughout Jacksonville, Tallahassee. We got kids playing from Tallahassee, and South Florida, and they got kids playing from Atlanta. So that's definitely the case, and probably will continue to happen, especially with the playoff format that'll kick in next year.
Second row on the left.
Mark Weiser of Athens, Banner Herald. Kirby, I want to ask you about Malachi Starks, a 2-year starter. He made a bunch of All-American teams. Where do you see his game as he begins his 3rd season after this bowl in terms of areas where he can improve and get better?
I think bigger, stronger in the weight room. He's dealt with some shoulder injuries and some dings. It's going to be really important for him to maintain his weight and stay up. He's a really good athlete. He's got the ability to play man-to-man. He can probably go play corner if we asked him to. Because he's a track kid in high school. He had good track numbers, great ball skills, but he also has size. So we want him to maintain that 200 pounds and continue to fill weak side meat gap. He does a great job of that. So he's a really good football player.
Second row on the right.
Hey Mike, Zach Leiningen from Channel 2 in Atlanta. When the dust settles, and if Florida State is the only undefeated team remaining, should you and Florida State consider themselves national champions?
I think that as things go on the field, you've got to control what you can control on the field. We were not presented the opportunity to go play in the college football playoff. For that decision, we get a chance to go compete against Georgia to try to win the Orange Bowl, and that would be an incredible feat for our football team to be able to go 14-0 throughout the course of the season, throughout the things that we've had to face. It's right now that's the focus, and ultimately that's what's in front of us, and that's all that we've talked about.
Conrad, Dog Nations for Kirby. Is there a status update on Darius Mims and Damon Wilson?
Yeah, Damon had a scope done, and he's with us, and he's out there, he's not practicing. Amarius is here and going to be with us today.
First row on the left.
Irish NFL WarChant.com. Mike, there's been a lot of talk about the production of players that might not be available in this game. Have you seen any of the players who are going to be in expanded roles taking on more leadership? Maybe guys who didn't have that opportunity during the regular season?
No, absolutely. And leadership is not about a speech. It's about what you do when you step on the field, what you're doing in the media rooms, how you're approaching each and every day. There's plenty of people that want to talk, But if your actions don't follow that up, then nobody's really going to listen. And what I've been pleased with is, just the way the guys approach the work that they've had, and now that they are getting more of an opportunity, to see them work, to encourage, to push. When you sit there and look at a lot of guys on our offensive line, guys that do have the experience and obviously are veterans within what we're doing. I think they've done a great job with it. You'll see some of those skilled players. You mentioned Jakai, a couple guys that really pushing to elevate themselves, to be supportive of some of the guys maybe don't have as much. But I think the leadership has come through the work, and I think that's something that our guys all respect within each other. Cheyenne Brown there in the defensive backfield, I think has really done a nice job of trying to elevate himself. Caleb Roach, who's one of our great players. He's done a wonderful job throughout this whole season as he's playing his last game as a Seminole, and then a couple of those guys on the defensive front have really been impactful.
First row on the right.
Sorry, Coach Smart, Studio today at Fox 5 Atlanta. Talking to Coach Hartley, you mentioned Carson has been just making next level throws. It's a different type of bowl prep for him. And when we spoke to him, he talked about how he's not really interested in the activities going on this week. He wants to watch film, he wants to go to practice. What have you seen from him since he announced his return and really in bowl prep?
I would say more pressure lifted off of him. Instead of carrying that burden of that decision, he wanted to get that over and focus on the Orange Bowl, and didn't want to have to answer questions about that down here. He wanted to be at his best. He wanted to lead his team, and I thought that was a good decision in terms of his leadership. He's one of our better leaders. He does it in a different way than most people. He's very poised and calm. Very pleased with his leadership.
In the rear.
Aslan, JavaneyWarChant.com, coach for Coach Norvell. Coach, your players have been very honest about the pain they'll carry with them, their careers, rest of their lives, about not being able to be rewarded for that resume that you guys put together. Is there a plan in place to make sure that doesn't linger in a negative way for you in this program? Because they said they're going to carry with them for a long time.
Go play the game. Go fulfill being the best that you can possibly be, and all the things that are ahead of you. There's a lot of experiences that you're going to learn from in life, and what you do with those experiences are going to dictate what your future is going to be. We get an opportunity to play Georgia in the Orange Bowl, and this is it's an exciting game. It's a great opportunity as we go through and get into the off season, and we get to continue to elevate this program to where it deserves to be. And going undefeated up to this point, it's been a wonderful ride for our program, but we still haven't accomplished all that's in front of us. And it's about the work, it's about the response, it's about the way that our guys will continue to improve. A lot of our guys are taking that step to the National Football League, here in the near future. And will they still have the pain and the hurt from maybe choices that were made? Absolutely, but they can still focus on going to be the best they can be, and they will find situations in the future. This experience will help them manage through, and to help them throughout the course of their lives if they take advantage of it.
Second row on the right.
Will McGrim, WBFS Tallahassee. Coach Smart, I wanted to ask about a couple of guys who had dealt with injuries for a lot of the year, and in Ladd McConkey and Kendall Milton, and could have sat out this game, but pretty much immediately decided that they were going to play for sure. What has their leadership been, not only in the lead up to this game, but this season as a whole?
Yeah, both those guys have been just stalwarts. It's not just this year. They led last year, the year before that. Kendall and Ladd are two of the most loyal Bulldogs that we'll ever have. They play on special teams. They create toughness in the way they practice. They both have been through some injuries, and they both bounced back from those. And they never hesitated. Kendall played his best football at the end of the year and really came home and had some really good games, and he wants to go out on top. So it was important to him to come out and play this game. And Ladd has battled injuries all year and hasn't been able to practice much, but he gives us what he's got, and we know if we can get him game day healthy, that he's a really good player.
Fourth row on the left.
Jordan Silversmith, Tomahawk Nation. Coach Norvell, can you talk about how Doug Jackson has looked in practice and how excited he is for this game?
Daryl's been great. That's a great example of somebody that unfortunately at the end of the year was denied an opportunity to play this season due to the two-time transfer, which now apparently has changed. So it's a great example of control the things you can control. And Daryl's brought a smile to his face throughout the course of the season. He's worked his butt off to be in position. We knew once we got to the postseason that he would be eligible to play, and that's been our focus. And I've challenged him throughout the year. And, he's done everything in his power, and so he's excited about it. He's got plenty of game experience under his belt, but there's going to be some nerves, some emotion, and probably some anxiety going into this one, and just getting out there and go and play the next snap. And but I'm definitely excited about seeing him get in there and make an impact on this game.
Question on the right. Here comes the mic.
And Mike, I know in the ACC championship game, that was sort of a whirlwind for Brock, and talking to Alex, it sounded like the game plan was like, don't make the big mistake that could cost us the game. Sort of a two-part question here. One, knowing, if you knew then what you know now about how the committee was judging you, would you have approached that differently and tried for some style points? And two, given that you've had more time with him in this role, do you expect more of the offense to be on his shoulders in this one?
I think you win a conference championship game by 10 points. I think it's pretty stylish. So ultimately it was about winning the game. And I thought our defense had a great plan, did a wonderful job. We knew we couldn't make the big mistake, we couldn't get the extra possessions. And I thought Brock did a good job of managing that throughout the course of the game. And that was his first start. It was his first meaningful reps throughout a game. In that type of situation. So he will be better from that. And as we jump into this one, this is his first week that he's come into a game week knowing that he's the starter. And we're able to plan things accordingly to certain strengths that he has, and get enough repetitions of the things that we expect to see, and then also some things that might be unexpected that we see. And so that's the fun of this week for us. And definitely, like I said, Brock's he's got great confidence, great belief, great emotion in what he brings and how he works, and just the people that are around him, how supportive they've been. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing him compete.
And Kirby, if I could follow up on that, how much do you prepare for the unexpected in a situation like this versus, you've got 13 games of tape on FSU that may or may not be particularly relevant to what you're doing right now?
Yeah, it's hard to prepare for the unexpected. That's what I've learned in coaching. You can't really prepare for it. You're better off spending your time blocking and tackling and getting better at fundamentals. And that's what we try to do, and adjust to what we get, and try to prepare for what we've seen, and use all the tape we can to have different options, different looks. Try to it's a lot of time between the games. Our last game, their last game, same day, and then you go all the way forward. There's a lot of things that can change and go on in kids' heads. So for us, it's been about the fundamentals and just trying to be better at blocking and tackling, because that's what you see in ball games. People don't tackle well, people don't block well.
First row on the left.
Yeah, Brooks also from Dogs Data. The question's for both coaches. It seems both of you guys have players that are in the portal but are participating in this football game. I'm curious how you go about coaching a player who on the surface appears to have a foot game in and out.
We don't really have anybody. We don't have kicker. No, he's not in the portal. He's not in the portal at all. Just because somebody posted that doesn't mean they're going to be in the portal. They have to go into the portal, which he's not. But the kicker, Zirkle, I think his 4th or 5th year, he just came to me and said, I'd like to see, he's probably not even going to go kick anywhere. He just want to see if he get any interest. And he had been there, and he'd gotten beaten out as the kicker. So he said he wanted to stay and kick in the game, so we allowed him to do it.
We got some guys that graduated at Florida State and looking at maybe different opportunities and maybe more expanded role for their future. The portal, and although you sit there and you can see it both ways. I mean, there's some things, there's some challenges of what it provides to all things with college athletics. But there are also some great parts of it with opportunity for guys. And so some guys came to me and expressed an interest of try to find maybe better situations, for them, and they've done everything that we've asked them to do throughout this journey that they've been on. And so, some of them might return to Florida State, some of them might not, but they have an opportunity to go and compete and be with this team to finish out what they started. I'm grateful for it.
Here's the first of our last two questions. Last row on the right.
Brandon Adams from Dog Nation, this is Kirby again. How much momentum into an off season could a bowl win provide?
Well, back in the day of recruiting in January, it was much more. Your signing class is done. Everything's almost through. School starts next week, or January 6th or 7th for us. So it's like, it can provide momentum in terms of going out and recruit the junior class. It can provide momentum in going out to the portal class. But it's probably not as much as it used to be when people signed in February. The earlier signing day provides momentum coming out of your championship games, more so than the bowl games.
Our last question will come from left, right, rear, and we have one. Our final question.
Still Coach Kirby, Tony Reese, I've been thinking about it, Georgia coach. Just talking about just a personal thing, the amount of talent that you've been able to look at, the challenge you've had in the Columbus area specifically. Kind of how crucial has that been to your recruiting process?
Well, it's a very fertile area. They've always had great football players out of Columbus. Delvin, he played there himself, does a tremendous job recruiting that area. We've had kids from both sides of the state line. It's always been a great football area. They've had great football. It's really close to Auburn, so they've got a footprint over there too. It's close to Tallahassee. So I think everybody goes in there to recruit really good football players. And we enjoy getting kids out of there. They come from really good programs and they got great toughness.